Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I'm also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney-specialized travel agency. It's my job to take away the stress and anxiety and the time of planning a Disney trip so you can focus on the fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free quote over at eartotheretravel.com. This is episode 33 for the week of September 12th, 2016. Now grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. Previously on the Ear to There podcast is exactly what you would hear if this was a TV show. Like previously on Lost, or previously on 24, or even on a dramatic podcast like Serial. They do previously on Serial. But seriously, last week on episode 32, my guest Johnny Shortsleeve and I were talking about our top reasons to go to Walt Disney World during Christmas. So if you didn't listen to part 1, that was episode 32, I'll put a link to that in the show notes so you can easily find it. So here is the dramatic conclusion of the top reasons to go to Walt Disney World over Christmas. We joined this podcast already in progress. So I think you're up for your next one.
All right, I'm pretty sure that this next one on my list is going to be on your list too, and just to keep with the theme. I mean, that's just how it's been going here this time, which is cool. I'm not upset by it. I think it's a testament that you and I are on the same wavelength with a lot of things here. The next thing on my list that I love about Christmas time at Walt Disney World is the food. And I was thinking about how to bring this issue up on the discussion here today. And I was thinking, I can talk about a few things that I really enjoy specifically. But I talked myself out of that because it seems like at least the last few years, they've really tried to work the food program a lot where they'll see new things being introduced. So while there still may be some things that would carry over from years past, you are seeing a lot of new things being brought to the various restaurants or quick service spots or even like the snack carts that are around, snack locations in the parks and the hotels, things like that, things that are themed for Christmas, more so than just like taking like a cupcake and then decorating it, which they have that stuff and it's cool. And, the candy apples that are, dusted in ways that have the Christmas decoration. That's neat. But I'm talking about like, for example, like in the restaurants, in the table service restaurants, the signature restaurants, they'll have holiday themed dishes that are common for the season, and they might even see some things that are introduced in terms of the snacks that are offered around, that some unique kind of snacks that are only offered during that time of year. I am not ashamed to say that I feel as if one of the things that I really enjoy about the experience of visiting Walt Disney World is the food. I think, it's a theme park, and these are hotels. I think it's more than that, and I think that's how they treat it too. You can go and get hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that. It's there for you if you want it, and that's cool. But if you're someone who wants to be a little more adventurous, there's a great experience waiting for you in all the parks and in all the resorts. So to me, I'm really curious to see what they're planning for this year. I've heard some, there's always the blogs that are out there that are kind of trying to bring some little tidbits of what they're hearing. I don't follow those too closely because I just rather just see it for myself, because sometimes they're not always right. So it's hard for me to say, hey, this year you're going to see X, because no one really knows yet unless you're actually there and you're working for them. But I think that's that's a neat adventure to expect if you're traveling to Walt Disney World during the Christmas time.
Dude, you're so right. And this wasn't on my list because when I started thinking about it, and I started thinking that they do change everything. As you're right, it seems to change every year now. Whereas I remember a few years ago, somewhere in Epcot, when Joffrey's coffee was still all the rage in the parks, which I think you can still find it someplace, but it's still in the rooms. I think it's still in. Is it still in some stands?
Yeah, in Epcot they have a few stands around in the park and then outside the park, outside the Transportation Ticket Center, inside of Hollywood Studios. I'm trying to think. Animal Kingdom. I think they have one in Animal Kingdom
I was trying
too.
to think this is completely off the top of my head right now, but I got a Joffrey's peppermint coffee, and listen, man, you know me, I love when it comes to the fall. I love anything pumpkin. When it comes to Christmas, I'm anything gingerbread, peppermint. I'm in. I love that stuff. And now I'm thinking tomorrow morning. Now I'm thinking going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting a pumpkin coffee. I hope they have them. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. I've been on the pumpkin beer for a couple of weeks already. Now I got to get to the pumpkin coffee. Anyway, back to Christmas. They had this awesome peppermint coffee, and then when I went back last year, it wasn't there, and I thought. That's as soon as you said that it changes every year. And that's exactly why I didn't put it on my list, because when I was looking at, there's a couple websites out there, a couple blogs that are completely dedicated to the foods in Walt Disney World, and every year they have big write-ups on the seasonal things. And you're right, it changes every year, and it's not just the stands, it's not just the snacks, or the candy apples, I remember seeing the Mickey Santa candy apple last year. It's not just those things. It is the table service restaurants will have special dishes, and it is a reason to go. And I think it's good that we're not kind of pointing out individual things, because I am hoping that this podcast is around for a couple years, for more than a couple. We'll see, but for a while, and people can search these episodes and go back. And I don't want someone listening, to the 2019. In 2019 about Christmas, saying this to me, I'm like, oh, I want to see what they have, and then being all mad at me because Joffrey's isn't serving up the peppermint coffee anymore. Probably not. I'm just letting you know now. But yeah, I love that it's different. That they change it up all the time. They do have everywhere. It seems like now has specialty food items for Christmas, for the holidays, and. For me, like I said, throw a candy cane on it, throw some gingerbread on it. I'm happy. I'll eat it. I'll drink it, whatever it is. I'll drink it, especially if it's coffee or if it's beer and it has a gingerbread or Christmas flavor in it. I'm in. I'd probably even drink a peppermint beer if I could find one. I mean, why not?
Yeah, you watch yourself, man, because that's the new trend now. All these funky beers that are out there. There's a few local breweries down here in Florida that do that stuff. Like they have a blueberry cobbler ale, and then like a sweet potato souffle ale.
Oh,
no, but and a good point, about the evergreenness of these episodes. Someone may be listening in a few years, and the contract with Joffrey's and Starbucks may be, and then Dunkin' Donuts is in the parks everywhere. I know a lot of folks from the Northeast would love that.
I'm a Dunkin' Donuts fan myself. I like Starbucks. If you went upstairs, I'm recording this downstairs in my house now. If you went upstairs to my kitchen and found my K-Cup carousel, it's 99% Starbucks, but it's only because I can buy that stuff in bulk at the store near me. If I'm going out to get coffee, I always go to Dunkin' Donuts, only because, listen, I like Starbucks. I think their coffee is fantastic. I just don't like ordering there. I never know the sizes. I'm always confused. I go in there, what's a venti? I don't know. I don't know what these sizes are. I feel weird. I feel awkward. Starbucks people, can't we just call them what they are? Like, can't we just say small, medium, large, extra large? I don't understand it. It drives me crazy.
But you know what? I'm with you there. I'm not a huge Starbucks fan, but I gotta say, and this has been a huge topic of debate for Disney fans who are not if they're on the team Dunkin' Donuts. they've been kind of upset about this. Yeah, I understand. But you got to look at it from the perspective from what they're doing. It's not just like a Starbucks where you get in and get your coffee. They have done a decent job of trying to theme the locations to the parks where they're at, and has some really cool little food offerings in there as well. Some snacks that are pretty nice. So yeah, it'd be neat to see. They used to have Dunkin' Donuts on the property. There's a secret spot, but it got removed. At the car care center, right outside the transportation town. Yeah. So when it was a Hess, they had a Dunkin' Donuts franchise inside of the Hess.
Wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
And but now it's no longer a Hess; it's a Speedway, and they don't have the Dunkin' Donuts franchise anymore. So no one knew about that, which was crazy because all these people from Team Dunkin' Donuts are like, oh, I can't stand Starbucks. I say that's just sneak out to the car care center, you get your Dunkin' Donuts fix.
All right, so. That was one of yours. Okay. So here's my thing. I only have 2 left.
Okay.
I have my one big one, which I think everybody who's listening knows what it's going to be. And so I'm going to go with my lesser of the 2.
Okay.
And it's kind of a smaller one, but it was actually one of my honorable mentions. But it's over at Disney Springs, and I hope I haven't read any different that they're doing it differently this year. Over by, like Once Upon a Toy and all that, they have the Santa Claus, where kids can actually go and meet Santa Claus over there. Last year, the way they had it set up was you wouldn't have to wait in line. You'd go up to the counter, and, one of Santa's helpers would give you like a pager, like a buzzer, and you could go shopping. They have a pretty good range on them, and you can go shopping at the stores around there. And then when it was your time and there was only a couple minutes left, you would head back to the line, wait just for a couple minutes, and you or your children, whoever wants to meet Santa, got to go and sit on Santa's lap if you wanted, and tell him what you wanted for Christmas. I thought that was a really cool thing, and I like that you didn't have to stand there and wait in line for like you would in the parks for like hours. You actually got to do something productive with that time and walk around and check the place out. And now with so much to do and see at Disney Springs, I mean, geez, you could be, if the line was 2 hours, you wouldn't be bored. So I think it's a cool thing that they do there.
Let me tell you a funny story real quick about that spot. So 2 years ago, I was doing a play with my daughter. It was Miracle on 34th Street. And I was cast as Kris Kringle in the play. Not because of my acting chops or my singing skills, which were horrendous and are still horrendous. It was because I was the oldest person that tried out, and I really didn't want to try out for a play out for a major part. I just wanted to do it so I could do it with her, and then I thought I'll be like somebody in the background, or just an ensemble kind of person, just to be there for atmosphere. So long story short, I get cast as Kris Kringle, and I was down in at the time it was called Downtown Disney. I was down there doing a little shopping by myself, and I just happened to be walking right past that area, and I hear this kid yelling, "Look, it's Santa!" And I turned around, like, "Yeah, it's me." Like, "Oh, wait, no, there's the real Santa." Like, "Oh, he's talking about the real Santa over there." And I was like, "You jerk! You're not that important."
You thought you were for a minute.
For a second, I was like, oh, I'm a big deal. And I'm getting recognized. But no, that spot is a great spot to visit with Santa if you're looking for that while you're while you're on vacation. It's a cool little setup that they have right there, and it's kind of self-contained. It's a nice little backdrop that they've made. I don't want to give a whole lot away about it, but a nice little backdrop for the photo that you take with Santa right there. And Santa is Santa right there. He is on point. So they did a nice job with that one, with that whole setup there. So I think that's a good choice there.
And I think he leaves. It's a few days, maybe a week before Christmas. He stops. I forget that off the top of my head the number of days. I think it's a week because he heads back to the North Pole
Yeah.
This is how they explain it, and he needs to go and get ready for Christmas. But he's there, I think, from November right up until then. So it's pretty cool to go check that out. All right, so like I said, I only have one more. So if you want to sneak a few in, if you want to do one, it's up to you.
I'll tell you what. I have a bunch, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to do one, and I'll let you wrap it up because I think I know what your grand finale is, and I think it should be the grand finale. Okay. So the last one I'll talk about is the entertainment that is around Epcot's World Showcase. In each country, they'll have some special setups or special shows or special interactive types of events that are themed to that particular country. So it helps to tell the story of how the people in that country, so like Mexico or Norway or China, how they celebrate the holidays. I don't know if China has one. I'm thinking about it. But anyway, so there's, Epcot to me, I think still does embody that idea of learning and exploring and being able to walk away with something that makes you want to learn more about what you just experienced. It's really neat with my kids to see them have that kind of takeaway too. Now, the big thing that most people associate with in terms of entertainment around World Showcase in Christmas time is the candlelight processional, which happens over at the American Pavilion. They they do bring in celebrities to do a reading of the Christmas story. And what's interesting is behind the celebrity, they'll have a choral group sing and provide, part of the show. And that choral group, as I understand it, is made up 100% of cast members at Walt Disney World who audition and try out. And I guess they're volunteers for that because I think it's kind of a prestigious thing to get picked for that. So that's kind of neat. It's not like, they flew in a choral group that's made up of a whole bunch of people. It's just they're the cast members who wanted to be a part of that experience. I think that's really nice. It seems like the number one celebrity that everyone wants to see every year routinely is Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it too.
He's good. I've never sat down to see him do the reading because the line is usually insane for him. But I'll like walk past it and kind of linger a little bit and watch him do his thing. I don't know that I've seen this year's lineup yet. I think they've teased a couple of the celebrities, but it's a lot of fun. It's now be careful if you have younger children because it's a little on the long side, maybe around an hour, maybe a tad bit longer. I can't remember exactly how long it is. It's not a 15 to 20 minute kind of thing because you have to get there in enough time to get filed in and get a seat, and then you kind of wait for the amphitheater there to fill up, and then the show itself is a pretty comprehensive show, and I don't say that in a bad way in any stretch of the imagination. It is a fantastic show. It's worth sitting. I would argue that it's worth the price of admission. If you said you're going to Epcot for one day, you had to buy a 1-day ticket, that would be worth it right there. Just seeing the candlelight processional, and then. Also, I'm a huge live music fan. I think we've talked about it a few times already in the podcast. They'll also have a few live musicians or musical acts around the countries at World Showcase that are playing music that is kind of traditional to that area. One of the more popular ones last year was the Canadian Holiday Voyagers over at the Mill stage where Off Kilter used to play. So it's kind of neat to experience how the culture really enjoys the holiday season because you have the cast members who are there who are visiting and who are cultural representatives from those countries. So you can talk to them and ask them stories, and they love to talk about what's going on and what their take is on some of these things. And there's so much to see. If you're somebody who's been to Epcot already before and you kind of know the lay of the land, especially on World Showcase, but you've never done it during Christmas time, I gotta say, this is a must do for you if you would really call yourself somebody who enjoys Epcot. This is a neat thing to be a part of.
Yeah, man, you're right. And as we were saying that at the end, I thought of each country has their own like ornaments too. If you're looking for like, I don't know, something to collect from the countries, from different countries for your tree at home. So I know people who make collections out of and make up whole trees with the ornaments from the different World Showcase countries. It's kind of a cool thing. But you're right about the candlelight processional. I mean, that each and every year seems to be one of the biggest events that they do around Christmas. And I know you said that Neil Patrick Harris is, I think, the most popular narrator. And you're right. Every year, the blogs, the message boards, all that stuff is all, when is Neil Patrick Harris doing it? When I guess it's just the way he reads it, or is it because he's Doogie Howser and because he was on How I Met Your Mother? I don't know.
No. It was the Harold and Kumar thing. Dude, I
gotta say, Harold and Kumar. That was like his big comeback.
I think that's his crowning achievement as an artist. I'm sure you would say so. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he did not get an Oscar for that, I literally thought I was going to lose my mind. I'm joking, of course, but I actually love that movie. It's funny.
I think it's funny too. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's a good question. I'm not sure how he became the person that everyone wanted to see. And I know of people who've said that they waited to figure out what the schedule was for him so they could book their trip so that it would coincide with him reading, because he's only there for like a few days doing it. It's not like he's there. He doesn't just camp out here in Orlando for 6 weeks to do the candlelight processional.
No, he's not one of the guys that gets the RV at Fort Wilderness and just spends like months there at the holidays, which people do actually do. Yeah. That's another thing. I should have mentioned that.
That's a good honorable mention though, Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, that wasn't on my list, but that's one. Really quickly, I just want to quickly say, like, Fort Wilderness, I was a front desk concierge. I can't say the word, so how the heck was I? I was a front desk concierge there for a while, and people will come down for the holidays, get their spot in on the loop with their RV, with their camper, and they will stay literally for weeks or months. They'll decorate their whole loop, decorate their camper, their RV, their car, their golf cart, and they will stay there for all, the whole holidays. And it's really a cool thing to go at night, walk around or rent a golf cart, drive around to all the different loops and look at all the RVs decorated. It's like going around a neighborhood that's decorated for Christmas. It's very cool.
I like to do the Marty McFly move. I'll grab my skateboard and just grab onto the back of a golf cart that's moving, like Back to the Future.
Listening to
Huey Lewis in the news. Yeah, man. Huey Lewis in the news.
And I'm thinking of the out of time license plate on the DeLorean for some reason. Yeah. So. Yeah, I can see you with the skateboard with the white hat backwards and the give me a high five shirt.
Yeah, man, that's a spectacle right there. That's Instagram material. I'm doing it for the people, man. Yeah, give them something to talk about. But you're right. I mean, I do like to go down there during Christmas time, and I'll just park at the main area and just walk through I will walk through that property. It's huge. But it's worth walking through instead of taking the buses, because the buses kind of zip you past things, and a lot of those folks who are setting up, like you said, setting up shop for a week or much longer, they do some amazing little decorations in that little spot, and it's cool. It's fun to see what they've done, and they're super cool about it too. So if they're out and about, just sitting around and talking, walk up and talk to them. They're always want to chit chat and have a chance to talk about what they're doing and what they're up to and how they're enjoying their time there. So I think it's definitely a cool way to spend an afternoon or an evening just to walk around down there.
Yeah, you're right. They almost have like a community there. It really is, because it's the same people that do it year after year, and they know each other, and they're more than happy to talk to you about it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. So I think I'm going to.
Dude, where's the drum roll? We gotta put a drum roll in. This is like I think this is the big one. If I'm guessing,
it is. I think this is the one I had a feeling you wouldn't steal, only because I figured we both could kind of talk about it at the end. And yeah, it's one of the. It is, of course, at Magic Kingdom, and it is the big holiday event each and every year at in Walt Disney World, and it is Jack Skellington. No, I'm kidding.
Yep, the recording of the parade.
It's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Poor Jack Skellington. I rip him all the time. What is amazing, though, is you can find Jack Skellington in his Santa Claus costume at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. He's one of the rare characters that you can see. But anyway, so Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is like I think the big event, the one event that screams Christmas over the holidays in Walt Disney World. It's a hard ticket event, right? So you need tickets for this one. Your park ticket won't get you in for that. They'll actually ask you to leave. It's happened to me before. I have been kicked out for the Very Merry Christmas Party before.
They don't ask you. They slide tackle you and put you in those zip ties. And
I'm like, do you know who I am? I have a podcast.
Don't you know? I'm a big deal.
So it usually starts at 7:00. But they will let you in at 4, which is a very cool thing. I want a lot of people to know. Normally, I mean, I'm assuming it'll be the same this year in 2016. It's just been in the past, but yeah, it's kind of what you would think Disney or I was say Halloween because it's almost Halloween. A Disney Christmas party would be. I mean, there's the all different kinds of the character. Like I was saying, the rare characters. The regular characters are dressed up in their Christmas costumes or outfits. So there's the Cinderella Castle lighting ceremony, which up until a couple years ago was Cinderella that did the lighting ceremony each night. Now it's Elsa, or at least it was Elsa last year. I know people were quite upset about Elsa taking over Cinderella's role, but at least it wasn't Stitch, right? I mean, I think you can say if it's
or
not
Stitch,
and I love Stitch. I think it's a great character, but he gets a lot of flack in Walt Disney World. But yeah, you get to see your rare characters, right? Like I was saying. So Jiminy Cricket will be out for meet and greet. You'll get Pinocchio. You can get some of the Seven Dwarfs sometimes. They'll have different food, different kinds of drinks. They have the Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, which is really, really cool. It's a very special parade that they have for but that stops about a week before Christmas as well. I think I don't know if that's mainly for the crowds or why they don't run that straight through till Christmas, but they normally don't. At the end of the night, at the end of the Christmas party, it actually gets to snow on Main Street, which is very, very cool. So I think the big one, the big event, the big thing you need to do is Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and go meet Jack Skellington if you so desire.
Yeah, I do enjoy those special hard ticket events because I don't know the exact number, and I don't know if really anybody does outside of Disney because I think they can control it however they want to. But I was under the impression that the amount of tickets that they sell would result in less guests in the park. I know people will argue with me on that it's still crowded. Yeah, it's still crowded. It's not. You're not going to be able to just walk on every single ride you want to that's open for the party. But it is supposed to be a reduced crowd, and there are some neat little extra touches that are added on there in addition to the parade and the special fireworks and all the little meet and greets that are around too. They have like a little hot chocolate and cookies set up that's kind of scattered around the parks as well. And the thing that I think is really neat about that is it's it's kind of taking everything that you would experience otherwise during that time of year and just going an extra level with everything in terms of the Christmas spirit and what you're experiencing there and how they're able to kind of transform this really awesome place to begin with into a really amazing experience for you to celebrate for the holidays. And yeah, you're right. It doesn't run all the way through Christmas, kind of like the way Halloween does here with the Halloween parties. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's probably because of crowds. It just would be too hard to shut the Magic Kingdom down to a smaller crowd when that's the busiest time of year, that week right there around Christmas. And I kind of alluded to, like jokingly, but around taping the Christmas parade. I don't know what the exact date is for that, but it's kind of neat. If you are around, I think it's usually right after Thanksgiving they do that. And they have, they'll bring in some celebrities to do some of the stage shows. And if you're just happen to be in town when they're doing that, it is kind of neat to just kind of hang out and watch them do it and do the production. I'm trying to think who I saw last year. I was walking from Fantasyland up toward the hub, and I knew that they were taping, but I just didn't want to mess with the crowds. And I see this big, massive silver umbrella coming at me with a whole bunch of people around the umbrella. And so I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I just walk up there and I see, then all of a sudden I see all these like plaid vested cast members telling me to get out of the way. And like, I thought there was like, President Obama or something coming through, and it was Jason Derulo, and he was all dudded up, and I guess they didn't want him to be bombarded by the guests. So they had to kind of usher him out quickly. It just happened to be where I was standing. And, whatever. I'm not a huge Jason Derulo fan, no disrespect, but if you are somebody who wants to say, hey, I saw whoever the pop star du jour is this year, chances are they're going to be there.
Dude, I'm sorry to touch. I don't know who Jason Derulo is.
Don't bother. Whoops, edit that out. Yeah, but it's and back to the party though. Another thing is interesting is they usually have like some special merchandise that's available,
right? And
there's special holiday themed merchandise throughout the parks all during the time during Christmas. But if I recall, they usually would have some special stuff just during the party that'd be kind of out there. Which, by the way, edit this out later. This is an interesting idea for you. So, Phil, I was thinking about this just now. What you might want to do is, like, on the outro of the podcast, record yourself doing something like, hey, we've got going to do in the Christmas spirit. I'm going to offer you a special discount on all my services. Do 10% or something like that, something just kind of nominal for, booking the trip. I'm going to book it for you. I'm going to do the dining for you. I'm going to do the fast passes. I'm going to give you the personal itinerary. 10% off all of my services right now if you book a holiday vacation. Give them a special offer code or something like that so you can track, when you sell that package of services you offer. But I think that'd be pretty sweet.
The package of goods.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know, man. Do you think since it's free, people are going to go for that?
Wait, No. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm talking about like when you do all like the booking of the vacation and that's not free. Wait, when did you start making that free?
Well, when I was charging, 30% on top of the vacation for a while. And
that's reasonable, yeah.
And then Disney came down on me and said I wasn't allowed to do that anymore. No, believe it or not, and I know it is a tough one to believe. I'm always have been and always will be free of charge.
Wait,
I mean, I'm not free of charge. My services are free of charge.
You're booking the trips, the dining, the fast passes, the personalized itineraries. You usually give like a little gift to the kids sometimes. I mean, you're giving out the peppermint coffee to all the. That's free?
It is, believe it or not. Oh yeah, I like that you mentioned. I think you just said the personalized itinerary. And if you didn't, that's one thing that I do. I think is important just because we all know the Wi-Fi is a little spotty in the parks, so it's nice to have a hard copy of your. And this isn't really a selling point for using me, but I think a lot of people don't have it, and it's nice to have that you can throw them in your back pocket. You can laminate it if you want. It's up to you, but it's nice to have all that stuff written out to know where your dining reservations are and your fast passes are and all that. I do that stuff for free, believe it or not.
My jaw, pick my jaw up off the floor. I was thinking like just the itinerary, what, $300-400 just for that?
That would be an expensive itinerary, but
that's free?
I should start charging.
Good.
I mean,
golly.
Yeah, believe it or not. The good, decent people that are travel agents will do it for free. The Disney specialized ones,
But wait, there aren't any others. I thought you were the only one, right?
I know. I want to say it's just me, but I don't want to. No, it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
You're the only one I know of, and I know a lot of people. I probably know dozens of people in this world, and you're the only one that I know that's a Disney specialized. So, as far as I'm concerned, you're the only game in town.
Well, thanks, man, and I appreciate that. And it is all free. And yeah, I do try to throw in a little gift. I don't go crazy because I say I work for free. Disney does pay me. I do it because I love Disney. I really want people, and this is kind of a weird, weak line, but I can't really say it any other way. I want people to have the experience that I would have on your vacation. I want you to. That's what I want. I want you to go and have that, and have me as a resource as well. That's why I think I said this last time I talked to you. I always send out Magic Band covers with my cell phone number on them. So if you have any kind of problems or issues or any questions at all when on your trip, just email me, call me, text me, and I'll get right back to you.
And I'll say, the friends of mine that I've referred to you to book vacations for them, 100% have said, this he's the real deal. He made my life so much easier. And when they were telling me all the things you did, I was thinking, gosh, man, I got some rich friends. They have this personal valet doing all this stuff. Like,
it's something that I love to do. I want people to go and have a blast and have fun. And I'm one of those people that actually gets their feelings hurt when somebody comes to me and says, oh, I didn't have fun on my trip. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Why didn't you call me? So anyway, enough.
So yeah, why'd you go to SeaWorld, man?
Yeah.
Should have gone to Disney World.
But I do book those too. I'm not just Disney. I will book your SeaWorld trip. I'll book your Universal trip. I'll book your honeymoon to Hawaii for you. I've been there. I've been to Europe. I've been all over. So I can help you book anything. Adventures by Disney. You want to do that?
How about a riverboat gambling cruise down in Branson, Missouri? Can you do that for me?
I can do it.
You can do anything, really? Okay, that's good to know. All right, so the next time I need to make some travel arrangements, you're my guy. I didn't realize it was more than Disney. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's everything. Now, are we gonna when I hit stop on the recorder? Are we going to have to talk about your riverboat gambling problem, or was that just something that you threw out there just to get the conversation going?
I like living on the edge, and some guys like hang gliding and bungee jumping, going to all you can eat shrimp buffets. No, not me. Riverboat gambling.
All right, this is taking a weird turn. I think that's our list. Do you have any honorable mentions you want to throw? It's amazing to go back to Christmas from riverboat gambling, but do you have any more?
That's why this is the #1 Disney podcast. I've surveyed people.
I'm gonna get an email or two this week. Like, you guys have to stay on topic, man. You guys were all over the place this week.
Hey, they can say what they want. I've done surveys on the street, and people say, "Yeah, you're the best." So
thanks, man. Okay. I have fun doing it, so
yeah. Really. But I'll tell you one honorable mention. Though I got to say this, it's a layup. But I'm going to say it's not a layup. It's an alley-oop, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to slam it. Just tomahawk dunk. The weather in Christmas time in Central Florida is just absolutely amazing. And
right.
a lot of people kind of bemoan the idea of coming to Walt Disney World because they think Florida is just so hot and it's so humid. Christmas time, absolutely gorgeous down here. So if you're somebody who lives in a northern state, or you're not someone who really adjusts well to the cold weather and you want a little break, it's not going to be 90 degrees, but there can be many days around the Christmas season where you can have a nice 75 sunny day, nice blue sky, or even warmer depending on how lucky you are. But
yeah, last year I was down there, and it was end of December, and I packed my shorts and left the room that morning, like 8 a.m. Had shorts and a t-shirt with a jacket on. By 10, I took the jacket off. I was in shorts and a t-shirt all day. It was awesome.
I think I can count on both hands how many days last year I had to wear jeans. I was chilly.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's an awesome reason to come down here during Christmas.
It is. Yeah, I remember when I lived there, and I think I told this on the podcast before. My wife, we were having a New Year's Eve party. It was New Year's, and my wife had me go out and get snacks. And I remember I'm walking to the supermarket for my car, and I'm in shorts and flip flops, and it's New Year's Eve. And me being from the Northeast, I was like, man, you really can't beat it. You can't beat being in shorts, and especially when you leave somewhere like the Northeast, or even colder if you're talking about the Wisconsins or the Minnesotas or Illinois, where you get the snow. I mean, gosh, the snow for 8 months a year. You're right. You can't beat the weather that time of year down there. It's beautiful. Thanks again, man, for doing this. These are always fun. And I was so excited to record this one because I know we've talked about Christmas in the past. I know how much of a Christmas fanatic you are, just like me. So this is a lot of fun to talk about. I know you and I always go off on the strangest tangents, but I've been told, and seriously, I'm not even kidding, by listeners that's fun and they enjoy it and they enjoy the conversation. So I hope they enjoy this one, and thanks again for recording. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you. It's always fun to chat, and anytime you want to talk Christmas, I'm your man.
Yeah, I mean Christmas carols all year. Christmas carols, Christmas music all year long. I can't really go wrong with that, right?
Hey, man, that's good living right there.
Yeah, right. So all right, so if people want to hear more from the man, the myth, the Christmas legend, Johnny Shortsleeve, where do they go?
I'll tell you what, they need to go to Facebook and search for Johnny Shortsleeve on there, and they're going to find my page. I got something really awesome that's in the works right now. I can't say it. I don't want to spoil it, but I am loving this new thing that's getting ready to come out. It's called a podcast, and it is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to launch it, and it's going to be something that I'm very proud of when it's all said and done, because this is something that I put a lot of time and effort in on, and I've got some cool stuff to share with everybody. So head on over to Facebook, find me, let's connect, let's chat, let's shoot the breeze. We'll talk Christmas, we'll talk Disney, we'll talk whatever you want to talk about. So I always appreciate hearing from folks, and thanks again, man, for letting me come and hang out with you.
Yeah, no problem, man. And if you guys see him in the parks, I'll have his picture up on it's up on the website, on my website, eartotheirtravel.com, and a bunch of places. Usually it's on the show notes page. I'll have a picture of him. He's a very, very distinguishable guy in the parks. Always wearing a white hat, always wearing a Give Me a High Five shirt, the shades. So go up and say hi. He's just as nice in person as he is on this podcast, I promise. And yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to the podcast. I can't wait to hear it. And thanks again.
Thank you, man.
That'll do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thank you so much once again to my guest, Johnny Shortsleeve. As you could tell from the 2-part episode, it is a lot of fun talking to him about Christmas, and I really think we could do it for days and days. But we spared you here a little bit. Although we talked about a lot, we didn't talk about everything. And thank you, as always, for listening. I hope you had a great time listening to this episode. We definitely had a great time putting it together. And as I say every week, if you did enjoy the episode, if you like the show, please just tell someone about it. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell that weird guy that drives around in his car all year listening to Christmas music. Sorry, Mr. Shortsleeve. And thank you so much for spreading the word in advance. From the bottom of my heart, I really, really appreciate it. And just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There podcast every Monday morning, as well as an episode of the Ear to There podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. And I complained that the Polynesian's name is too long. But anyway, look for that one each and every Wednesday morning. So until next week, Merry Early Christmas. Make your plans now. Have a great week. Bye-bye.